Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Talk episode 4. Today, this is kind of a special episode. I wanted to make a dedicated video about my favorite now JRPG franchise. But I had all this footage taken and I had to format my PC so all the footage is gone. And I have been playing this JRPG series since the start of this year. I think I started around on March when I came back for my trip. No, that was April actually, yeah. I started playing this on April and I was dedicated. I wanted to finish this because I wanted to play for a long time, but I always was somehow getting filtered out before even the first boss. That is a very weird thing overall after I see the series now. I don't know why I felt like that, but I did. The series I'm talking about is Xenoblade Chronicles. I wanted to make a video after I finished each and every one, but life was getting in the way and I just didn't. And I have all the games here. So all of the games here. And I just want to say, last month I finally finished everything and the DLCs and all of that is included. These games are massive. I was intending to play all of them one after the other, but it felt not possible. So I played Definitive Edition, then I played 2, and then I played Torna, and then I started playing 3, but I got burned out very badly on around chapter 2 for this game. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. Like I couldn't cope with doing anything about this. So I started playing other games. And I knew eventually I would come back, and I did last month. And I started playing the game, got all over it again. It felt amazing. Now this is quite the intro. But I'm saying all this because this right now is my favorite JRPG series, and I am super excited and hope that the next game is going to be a release game, or at least on the first year, or hopefully a launch game for the next Nintendo console. And I'm very excited to see what they're gonna do. For prefaces, I have played some of the Xenosaga games and Xenogears, but it was so long ago, it's like 10 years ago, so I don't really remember much. And I don't think I have finished any of the games completely. That was something that I was suffering a lot. I will start games but never finish. I was struggling to finish if the pace was not up to what I was feeling to play at the time. And I think from the Xenogears, I only played the disc 1, I never touched the other disc. I have heard so much bad things about that disc that I didn't even try it, so that's why I never finished that one. Nevertheless, I have to say first, for this game, it is Xenoblade 1 is my favorite game, and right now it's my favorite JRPG of all of them. Even though it was the first one, something about it just clicks better with me. I don't know what it is. Is it the characters? It could be the characters. It has a little bit of a darker, more revenge story kind of tone, and then it changes, and then it becomes a little bit more philosophical, and it's more about saving people and saving the world and all of that, or like knowing, understanding, and all of that, like knowing about the universe. And maybe there is something about that magic of the first time that you experience this kind of thing that it can be completely transferred over and over to the next iterations. For me, I won't say that the combat system was my favorite. My favorite combat system actually was on the latest one, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the DLC, that was my favorite combat system. Maybe it can be recency bias, but I really love the way that you could interact and pair up people and do all these extreme cool attacks with having all the animations and little talks. It felt amazing. But now I'm gonna talk in general about each one of the games. I will try to not give any spoilers or like share very specific moments, but for this specifically for this game, I just want to try to make it not be insanely long because I know most people don't really watch long videos. So I will just try to keep it as brief as possible. So for this game, one of my favorite things was obviously I said the characters and the universe at the start. It was very, it felt more, in a way, more structured, and you couldn't really go too wrong on the things you were doing. I felt a little bit that it was harder as well than the other games, but maybe that's me because I was new to the system. These games have very, very heavy emphasis on combat, and I have played the original on the Wii as well, but at the time I didn't even know English, so I don't think I went even too far. For me, I think this series in general touched me because I love MMORPGs. I have played almost from the very start. I started playing on the first expansion of World of Warcraft. I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV and so many MMORPGs all over the years. Ever since I was 11 years old, I was playing MMORPGs. And that is like now 20 years. So 20 years I have been playing MMORPGs. When I see a game, JRPG, makes the combat like that, I just felt like this is the best thing ever. I love MMORPG combat, and this definitely felt amazing. It felt so good to be able to have this type of combat in an RPG. Usually it's never like that, and I really liked a lot playing melee classes that I liked that they had the directional hits and all of that. So I'm very curious what games they like to play to make this kind of game. The story is unparalleled. Like to anything I have played, everything else seems like a joke compared to what they craft in these games. It's like the only thing I could say is close is Hiseki or Legend of Heroes. Those are the other games that I will say that have very good story, but everything else, not even close. I'm sorry, like I thought Persona, Shin Megami Tensei were like the best stories or like very cool stories at least, very edgy stories, but to be honest, after playing everything, I think this is the best storytelling gaming. It's crazy that they I still can't believe how can they put these huge RPGs in on Switch. It's like they even actually put it even on 3DS. The new 3DS XL had Xenoblade Chronicles 1. That was crazy. I saw some gameplay. I was like, how is this even possible? It magic the way that they can do that, actually magic. And with the definitive edition, many actually are kind of divided. Some like the older, more darker, more realistic art style. I like the more anime art style because first, I like anime myself, but also it gives you that feeling that this is gonna age way more gracefully than trying to look a little bit more realistic on the faces and everything. Like if you look at them now, if you look at the icons on the Switch that they have for the characters, if you see the older art, it feels a little bit dated. But that's just my opinion. Don't scrutinize me. The way that this played was one of the best. Not my favorite, but I still like that game so much. And one of the things in general for Xenoblade is also that they don't stop with you finishing the game. Yes, they have the DLCs. The first game didn't really have a good DLC, to be honest. Didn't really like it, but the others were amazing. And the other thing that I will have to say is that they have New Game Plus immediately, and they also have challenge modes, and that is one of the coolest things. These games feels like you finish them the first time, but it's not the end. You can come back and play them again. This is very, very rare for JRPGs to have this kind of function that, yes, you finish the game, but that's not all. Not just the New Game Plus thing. That a lot of games have New Game Plus, don't get me wrong, but in the way that these games do it with the challenge modes as well, it feels like that they really aim to be a replayable experience. You can come back when you want to. For example, a year later, oh, I want to play some Xenoblade, I want to do the challenges randomly, right? Or years later, I want to do the challenges, I never did them. And you go back and you play them, and it feels amazing. That's how it felt when I went back for the challenge modes and everything like that, for the Xenoblade series in general. I still haven't done the challenges for the third game, but I have done it for the second game, and it felt like amazing. Amazing. Going back to the games, and it feels like just not the end. Like you can experience the story again and everything like that to refresh your memory, but it feels like they want you to come back to play the game again. Especially, let's talk a little bit now for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That I felt that game surpassed the first game on not on the or like the all the time, but like when it was going on its very highs in the story. I felt that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was better, because the first game felt kind of not predictable, but it had a set path. This game had a set path, but then so many things were happening in the middle, and especially, oh my god, the cutscenes. It was like so many absolute cinema moments. They had them as well on Xenoblade 1, and as I said, it's my favorite game, but on this, a lot of times it will surpass, and like so much. It was going so high up to the stakes, what was happening, to the boss fights, and it really felt like an improvement in a lot of aspects from the first game. I liked on this one the combat as well. I like that they tried completely different systems. They are not afraid to try things and show you. They don't want you to play like, it felt like they wanted to make each and every game different in a way that how you control it, have a different experience, feel fresh. When you go back and play all these games again, you don't just do the same thing. Like when I go back to play Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, all the games kinda play the same way, but with this, when you go back to play these games, it's completely different. And I really love that you have to get a mastery. Like I literally watched guides to get better at this game. It was, some fights were actually hard, and I was not shy on one battle. I still remember it, that I had to go on easy mode. It was some raptors, and I just couldn't do anything. They will get these raptors on me, all of them, 3 at once, and they will kill me. Thinking about that, actually I think it was on the first game that happened. I was a little bit under leveled, and they will just attack me and I will die. But that happened not as much, but happened a couple of times on the second game as well, till I got hold of the whole different chain attack and all of that at the time. But I really like the way that they changed how you have the moves, you don't have them immediately. I was a little bit sad that the directional movements were gone, but it is what it is. I liked a lot the chain attacks, and The driver abilities, I really like that as well. It felt really cool when you were pulling off those moves. One of the things I didn't really love was the gacha system, because sometimes you would get lucky, but sometimes you wouldn't. And I didn't get Cosmos, and I'm pissed because I didn't get Cosmos. But it is what it is. Like maybe in the future I will be able to get here, but for the time that I played, I didn't get here yet. What is also a surprise is playing the supposedly prequel to that world, the Torna expansion. I also had it on digital. Actually, I had all the games digital, and I bought them after I finished them on physical. Why? Because I'm an idiot, and also because I just started to really love like collecting games that I really enjoy. So without further, like the moment I saw it on Amazon that it was like 50 Australian, I was like, get it immediately, because it was kind of rare, but they did a reprint. And I was lucky. So anyway, this was very good, and I actually liked the story a lot on this one. I didn't expect it. It's literally a standalone game. You can play it and you don't have to care about anything else. You can get it. It was completely autonomous, and I like the new system here better actually. It felt like the way that they do it with the expansion is the same on the third game. They take the ideas of the base game and they're like, yeah, but what if we do this? And I felt like on this one it was the best iteration. If you had this on the base game, I feel that it will be better, but I mean, it is what it is. The only thing that annoyed me on this one is because I'm not a player that does all the side quests on the first playthrough. I didn't like the community thing. That's the only negative I have to say about this game. It was a fantastic game, the story was amazing, you learned so much about the universe of Xenoblade 2. And of course I forgot to mention about the base game. The ending, in my opinion, it was like, you know, that give that they like do absolute cinema. Yeah, that's how it was. When I was theorizing in my head, like I do a lot of these things, I was trying to connect these two games, and when I saw the ending I was like, oh my god, what? When you realize what happened between and kind of connected to games, very ambiguous, I'm not spoiling anything here, but it was the moment I was like, these guys are insane, what are they doing here? This was like so good. And the only thing that I would say like about Xenoblade 2 was like that, like I said, the very highs were so good, surpassing the first game, but it was not a consistent pace of that. It was like very flat most of the time. It was very ground based, very chill, enjoy your time, talk with people and stuff like that, and fight. Like I like the fights a lot as well, and the bosses. But when it was going, like most of the time it was not as good as the first game. But when those highs were hitting, you were like, this is the best game ever. Like that's how you felt. How can they do this? And the cutscenes, again, miles ahead from the first game, obviously. They were just really, really good. Especially like I really like that fantasy that they were going for, and how the game changed from just being a ground base to being like the highest sci-fi fantasy is crazy. Like they do it a lot, that kind of part, and it felt crazy. Now I'm said earlier in the video, this will be a short video. Haha. Yeah, it was not. I see it already, it's 20 minutes. So here we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That was the most recent one I played, together with the expansion. The expansion was not really long, but if they had the physical, I will get it as well. That's how it is. I will get it again. But overall, Xenoblade 3 had a lot of improvements. It had the best fight system, in my opinion. The way that you could do all of these customizations was way better than all the previous entries. I liked it way more. For the battle system, at least, it felt like the thing that I liked the most. They brought back the directional attacks, and they were a little bit more subtle this time because it was not as secure thing on the chain attacks like it was on the first game. So like with the side breaks and stuff like that, this was not the case on this one, and they had these fusion attacks, which was making it a little bit complicated the things, but then you realize what was going on, and it was feeling better. The story, I can't say the base game story. I don't think I liked it as much as the other two games. Like, just taste to that part. It's not that the story was bad, it's not anything like that. It was just that the other stories touched me more, especially the second game. As I said, it was not like the third game, when it was like nothing happening and you were just going around. I liked it more than the second game, but the second game had the highest highs, in my opinion, than the third game in terms of the story pacing. What happened though is on the expansion, my god, when you learn the whole thing, you know, you go at the end, you finish, and then you start learning the what happened and all of that kind of stuff. It felt insane. When I played the DLC after, I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. And honestly, it was. Like, I wanted to get to that moment from the very start. I started playing this game. When I finished the first game and I saw what happens in the DLC, I was like, I was not spoiling myself, but I saw the characters, right? And I was like, I need to play this series right now. And I need to reach that moment because I know it's gonna be amazing. And my god, it was. It was one of the most fanboy things I ever felt in my life. Like, I was cheating all the little things I would see, getting crazy about how the characters from before and now looked, like Shulk and Rex. They look like crazy. By the way, this is the only JRPG I ever played that I played them all on dub. All the dubs were good. I know some say that the second game dub was not that good. I don't know. I liked it. I liked having the Scottish Nia and all of those memes. This is the only game I ever done this, because it had so much dialogue that I didn't want to get filtered again, so I thought maybe the dub will help me. And maybe it did, I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I don't know what was it, what was about this game that was getting filtered me out after a while. But I stayed strong, I finished it, and I finished the third game and the DLC, and it was like chef's kiss. It was like, when the moment that you finish the third DLC, you're like, what is even going on? It was like so good. I think I got emotional on all the games, which I really don't. Like, I always felt that like people were getting emotional on games that were kind of like, I don't know, like they were a little bit off. But turns out I just didn't play good games, I guess. Like, I was playing those Final Fantasy and everything, but I never really felt anything. The only games that I ever felt something inside was some of the Persona games, but nothing could compare to what I felt on the first game, Xenoblade, on the expansion of the third game, and on the third game in general, because it had a lot of strategies. But I think the one that got me the most was the ending of 2. My god, that was like insane. Like, I'm not gonna get into it. It was emotional, okay? And I don't know why. I couldn't explain it to myself, because it was like, I don't get emotional in games. What's happening here? And the only time I got emotional before was on games that were a bit more dramatic, like Yakuza 7 and Yakuza 8, but mostly Yakuza 7. It was the only games I felt really emotional before. Now, I don't know what causes it. Maybe I'm just getting older and the feelings are coming out easier. But when I was ever playing JRPGs or anything before, I wouldn't cringe or anything, but I just never really felt that it was something crazy happening. You know, maybe I didn't feel connected to the games as much. Some Persona games were good like that, and I'm very JRPG guy. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting older. Now, a quick order of how I would place the games, in my opinion, on best to, I don't know, second best, not as much. My favorite game first is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Just felt insane. The second game, I will put Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then I will put Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the DLC. Then I will put the base game. And then I will put Torna. Now, Torna, for a lot of people, are their favorite game. I don't feel it was that crazy for me personally. Maybe I didn't feel as connected to the main characters, but I liked it, and like I say this, that this is the one I liked a little bit less, but I still feel it's the second best combat system they ever made. So I really liked playing it. It's not like I disliked it or anything, but I just felt like in priority what I have in my mind, that's how I would position myself in terms of a complete package of the game. And overall, I felt that it was great. It was great, and I really can't wait for what they're gonna make next. I'm really kind of, as stupid as it sounds, I'm really proud of myself that I was able to finish the games and even revisit them to play some of the challenge modes, because I have a problem. I don't know what it is, but I find it struggling to finish games. And this year, I'm really trying my hardest to finish games, because I don't want to be the guy that just half finishes the games. Like I will go 80% and then never finish the game. I don't know why. I will just not do it. Something else will come out and my attention will be to that. And I'm trying to stop that as much as I can. But it's not easy as always. It's not easy always. Like my attention span is not the best. Let's just say that. So yeah, these are the games that I enjoyed from Xenoblade series. I probably will play I have a Wii U, and I don't know what happened. My tablet just stopped working. I think it's the battery, but it might not be. I'm not sure. There was no damage. I never broke it, and it never fell down or anything like that. Just stopped working. I couldn't find any solutions. I'm quite tech savvy. I couldn't find any solutions online about this. No one could tell me what it was, so I just didn't bother, because I bought it for $50. It was working for a month. I hope I will be able to play Chronicles X. Maybe I will emulate it on my Steam Deck. Not sure yet, but whatever happens, I guess I will let you guys know when I finish that game as well. Now we are at 30 minutes. This is bad. I said that it will be a small video, but it's not. Thank you for watching. And please leave some thoughts about what you liked on the Xenoblade series. And if anything triggered you, please, you can leave the comments, but that's just my opinion. It's not an objective opinion. I'm not a critic or anything like that. I just played the games, and that's what I felt. I'm just saying all this because I know that there is a lot of people that love these games, and they may saw that I said that this was my least favorite, and they will be like, "You're crazy" and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you on the next coffee talk. Bye now.